Rotom is one of the most versatile Pokemon out there. I mean, can Pikachu turn into a washing machine? I didn't think so. But the way that you get the different forms changes with each game. Sometimes you'll just walk into a Team Galactic hideout and have a bunch of conveniently laid out electrical appliances, and other times you'll walk into a shopping center and have a box full of conveniently laid out electrical appliances. With how popular they've become in recent years, becoming everybody's phones or Pokedexes, you'd think there'll be a dedicated Rotom store for all your Rotom needs. This is where I come in. We'll be designing a logo and animating an advert. Let's design a Rotom store. First things first is the store name. I'm famously fantastic when it comes to making Pokemon brand names, like when we made Skarmory Armory or Ride on These Nuts, but to come up with a great brand name, you need to truly get to the heart of the idea. So I made a long list of Rotom related words to try to get the ideas flowing. Rotom appliances? Bit generic. Electric catalog? This is getting worse. But then it hit me. Rotom is motor backwards. Motor madness. Rotom is a cheeky little bugger. Very mischievous. Perhaps known to cause a bit of madness and enter motors. Motor madness. I wanted the branding to be all zany and quirked up just like Rotom, so I picked out all the fonts in my library that I thought might work. Some fonts were more techy while others are more blocky, but either way, the text will soon be possessed by Rotom. First, I wanted to try leaning into the madness side of things, so I picked out a cool variable font called Thunder. Fonts are so cool, man. I figured that a bunch of different font weights paired with some manual stretching and resizing would do the job, but this just didn't look good, man. Maybe we were doing too much. Let's reel it back a little bit and have less variation between the letters. We can always add back in some more variation later on if we need to. After adding Rotom's colors, I noticed that the O's here kinda look like its eyes, especially if we add a little line through them. And what's a Rotom without the funny little spike on the head? This still felt like it was missing something though, and no amount of bulge was going to fix that, so let's move on to the next concept. I still like the idea of having a bit of craziness with the letters, and this font might work even better since it's such a rigid, almost mechanical font. I messed around with different ways that the letters could interact or overlap, and found out that if you stretch out the T and bring down the O, it makes for such an aesthetically pleasing composition. Since the word motor was so tall, we're gonna make the word madness shorter for some very nice contrast. A quick splash of color? Ooh, I'm liking where this is going. The only issue is though that it's not massively Rotom-like other than the color. It doesn't have to be super on the nose, like we don't have to just take Rotom's face and just pop it on top of the logo. That might have actually worked kinda well, but I wanted a subtle nod to its design somewhere. I thought the head spike could work, but it just looked out of place here and didn't even fit inside this hole over here. Until I made it. It's Illustrator, the funny shape program. If your shapes don't fit, just make them fit. This wasn't reading as Rotom anymore though, so I tried to get a simple Rotom body and pop it on the end of it. This was okay, kinda. Something about this just didn't feel right. But what if instead of having a Rotom body on the end of it, we use Rotom's lightning bolt? Look at that, it fits perfectly! This is why I love Illustrator, man. It's like the most satisfying puzzle game of all time. The only issue now is that it feels a little bit lopsided, so let's just carve a hole into the M for a bit of symmetry. And there you have it. This is going straight in my portfolio as soon as I finish this video, man. This is so cool. I played around with some variations too that had this thin outline encasing the entire thing, kind of like Rotom's blue plasma, but I still think that the simplicity of the first one works best. This is normally the part of the video where I showcase the logo on a billboard or something so you can see how it looks in real life, but we're not done here just yet. What's a Rotom design without designing some Rotoms? I want to take this to the next level, so rather than just making a logo, I want to animate an entire teaser trailer for the grand opening. And to do this, we're going to need to draw up some Rotoms. Now you might be thinking, Aura, Rotom is round, but your logo has all these sharp edges. How can you possibly make the two styles match? Introducing the Octagon. Yeah, we're just gonna make some stylized Rotoms. This is actually a lot easier than I expected. We have the regular Rotom with their cute little smile. Rotom Heat, which I only just now realized has oven mitts for hands because he's an oven. Man, I love Pokemon. Rotom washed with an even bigger smile. The hand on the right side was a little bit tricky to make with just basic shapes, but when you are using just basic shapes, eventually you figure out how to put together the pieces of the puzzle. Rotom Frost, who's all sad because he's all cold. This is literally peak character design. Rotom Fan, who works surprisingly well with no curved lines. I honestly was not expecting this one to turn out as good as it did. And finally, Rotom Mo with that incredibly evil grin. That's 6 Rotoms all made with completely straight edges to match the logo. Yes, there are other Rotoms, but until you can use Bike Rotom in battle, this is all you're getting. Now it's time for the animation. This part alone took 10 hours. But first, I wanted to say a quick thanks for helping the channel hit 1K. I've had so many lovely comments from people saying they wish they saw my incredibly niche content sooner, so if you're a fan too, why not like and subscribe? Now, let's open up everybody's least favorite program, After Effects. As you can see, the text is all squishy here and stretchy here. This gives us the perfect base to work with for our animation. All we have to do is animate the letters going up and down. How hard can that be? I said, how hard can that be? 2 hours later, and the first part of the animation was complete. The first version I tried didn't flow super well and had a really awkward starting position. Like, this being in the middle of the animation would be completely fine, but the very first frame of animation shouldn't look like it's mid-animation. The logo was also taken straight from the Illustrator file, but for some reason, whenever I traced it into After Effects, it just added all these extra random points all over the place for no reason. Honestly, just remaking the logo from scratch in After Effects was just easier to work with. Our winning idea starts off with the font all squashed, which I guess just looks like a regular font, but that's what we're going for. The letter T retracts its arms, squashes down with anticipation, and then shoots up along with the other letters until the arms bounce back out. But that's just the motor animated. What about the madness? Well, I wanted to incorporate electricity somehow, because obviously it fits in very nicely with Rotom, so I tried making a lightning transition using some lines and some very cool effects. When adding the glow to the lightning, I accidentally put it on the entire composition rather than just the lightning, but this was such a happy accident because now the entire logo was looking so much better. I finished up the lightning and added some fractal noise to help transition in the text, but what about these 2 lightning bolts on the side? I kind of forgot about those. Well, when the text is springing up, they're nowhere to be seen, so we need to think of a clever way to transition them in. I thought it would be really cool to have the lightning bolts come out of the little holes in the cuts, but that wasn't enough. I wanted it to feel like a perfectly conducted orchestra. Like, this is lightning and this is lightning. Let's have this lightning come out super far and then slam back into place, setting off a chain reaction throughout the entire logo and revealing the word madness. Now, I don't know about you, but that looks like a pretty completed logo animation to me. But we didn't draw up all of these guys for nothing, so the next challenge was going to be transitioning from the end of the logo animation to the start of the Rotom animation. But before that, we had to separate all of our layers and put them all in separate files. Yes, I name all my layers, and yes, you should too. My first idea was to have Rotom sneak out at the end of the lightning here. It's not super smooth, but when it's playing at full speed, you probably won't notice how janky it looks. The main problem with this though, is that now Rotom is just kinda awkwardly off to one side and the main logo is just kind of there. We need the logo to leave while Rotom comes in. I thought I could do something where the lightning bolt comes out, and since it's the exact same shape as Rotom's lightning bolt, there could be some kind of cool transition there somewhere, but this just didn't work out how I wanted it to. At this point, I really didn't know what to do, so I just did what all designers do whenever they get stuck. Georgia, can you help me with the design real quick?
Oh yeah, I see what the problem is.
I played the animation for Georgia and she just immediately had the solution. It almost annoyed me that I didn't see the solution myself because it was so simple, but that's why it's good to get up and take breaks every now and then, but also asking for help is good. Fresh eyes make for fresh design. This doesn't work. All we had to do was scale down the text and move the lightning bolts closer together. This is just Rotom now. So after we scale up Rotom with some motion blur, this is so seamless. We'll give him a little blink when they come on and a nice little arm stretch. much, but there are 6 of these guys. We can't spend too long on each Rotom, or everybody watching this advert on the Rotom phone will just scroll away. We need to think of a clever and quick way to go from Rotom to Rotom. Since they've all got pretty similar characteristics, I thought a match cut type concept could work quite nicely here. We set up Rotom Heat underneath, messed around with the position and rotation, put some motion blur on there to hide the cut, and there you have it. Of course, a Rotom animation wouldn't be complete without more lightning though, so we added some into the transition to help tie everything together. Rinse and repeat, and wait, maybe doing this 6 times in a row is kinda boring. You know what? I think it would actually be really cool to have every single Rotom on screen at once, so after Rotom Frost does this thing, we're gonna have every single Rotom come into the screen together with a bit of lightning to accompany them. All that's left is a bit of text at the end, and I think we can call this project a success. Introducing Motor Madness. Bring your household to life. Before we get to the final animation, I really want to show you guys these cool little extras that I made. We made such a strong collection of assets that it felt like a waste to not use them on everything. We've got these fun little patterns, stickers, and even a whole last set of brand guidelines. I wasn't kidding when I said this is going right on my portfolio. It's just so cool to see an idea for a fictional brand have so much real, actual potential. Now, without further ado, the final animation. Thanks for watching. Which Pokemon should we do next? Let me know your ideas in the comments. If you want to support the channel, then check out my online art shop. I might even put these Rotom up there as a little sticker sheet or something. I also have other cool videos like me making more Pokemon brands, or other funky stuff like looking at weird gaming magazine adverts from the 2000s. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.